Today we're going to look at unit analysis, or what you could call unit conversions. So listed here are several conversions you may or may not know, and we're going to use these to solve some problems. So unit analysis is a method used to convert from one unit of measure to another unit of measure. And in the unit analysis problem, we're going to place measurements into fractions, into a fraction form, and build a product of fractions, which means we're going to multiply a bunch of them together, and we're going to eliminate our unwanted units until we get the unit that we need. So example 1, we're going to change 45 months into years. Now, if you look at that conversion chart at the top of your paper, we don't have any conversions between month and years, but this is one that you should know. So we're going to start with what they give us, which is 45 months. So we're going to say 45 months over 1, because that's what they're telling us that we're starting with, is our 45 months. Now, we know to be true that we have 12 months in 1 year. So we want this months to cancel out because we're trying to get to years. So I'm going to put 12 months on the bottom of the next fraction and 1 year on the top. That way this months cancels with that months, and then notice all we have left is years, which is what we want. So now we're going to multiply straight across. So we're going to say 45 times 1, which is 45, divided by 1 times 12, which is 12. We're going to divide that out. 45 divided by 12 is 3.75, and notice our unit left is years, which is what we wanted. So 45 months is the same thing as 3.75 years. So example 2, we have that we want to change 25 yards into feet. So we have 25 yards. That's what we're starting with. So that's going to be our first fraction. So 25 yards over 1. Now we're going to want to multiply. And if we look down here, I've already circled that 1 yard is the same thing as 3 feet. That comes from our conversion chart. So that means that if we look, we want our yards to cancel because we want to end up with feet. So we're going to put yards on the bottom. So 1 yard is the same thing as 3 feet. That way this yard cancels with that yard. Feet is what we have left, which is what we want. So now we'll multiply straight across. So 25 times 3 is 75. 1 times 1 is 1. Well, 75 divided by 1 is just 75. And our unit left is feet. So 25 yards is the same thing as 75 feet. All right, so example 3, we have change 4 meters to yards. So we're starting with 4 meters, so that's our first fraction. So 4 meters over 1. All right, now we're going to have to multiply. So we want to eventually end up with yards, is what we were trying to get to. So if we come down and look at our conversion chart, we know that 1 meter is the same as 3.28 feet. So let's just start with that. So we want meters to cancel. So I'm going to put 1 meter on the bottom. And we know that that's equal to 3.28 feet. That way this meter will cancel with this meter. Now, our unit left right now is feet, but that's not what we want. We want yards. So if we look at this other conversion, we know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So we're going to multiply again, but this time we want feet to cancel. So we're going to put 3 feet on the bottom and 1 yard on the top. That way this feet cancels with that one, and the only unit we have left is yards, which is what we want. So now we'll multiply straight across. So we're going to look at our top here. Whoops, sorry about that. We're going to look at our top, and we're going to multiply 4 times 3.28 times 1, which is going to give us 13.12. 12. And then we'll multiply the bottom 1 times 3, which is 3. We'll divide that out. So 13.12 divided by 3 is approximately 4.373 repeating. And our only unit left is yards. So 4 meters is the same thing as 4.373 yards. Alright, so the last example we have change 88 feet per second to miles per hour. So we're starting with 88 feet per second. So notice this one's going to have a unit in our numerator and in our denominator. So 88 feet per second means 1 second. Now we want to end up in miles per hour, so we have 2 different units here that we need to change. So I'm going to try to get rid of the feet first. So if we look at this conversion, we have 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. So I'm going to multiply. Since I'm trying to get rid of feet, I'm going to put the feet on the bottom. So 5,280 feet is equal to 1 mile. Okay, that way this feet cancels with this feet, and we have mile, which is what we want. But notice we also need per hour. So we're also going to have to get rid of this seconds down here. So we know that 1 hour is equal to 3,600 seconds. So we want seconds to cancel, and it's on the bottom. So we're going to put the other seconds on the top in the numerator. So 3,600 seconds is the same thing as 1 hour. That way this second cancels with this second. So now notice in the numerator, the only unit we have left is mile, which is what we wanted, and the only unit in the denominator is hour, which is what we wanted. So now we can multiply. So if we go back and multiply, we'll start with our numerator here. So we'll say 88 times 1 times 3,600. And that will give us 316,800 divided by, and then in our denominator, 1 times 5,280 times 1 is 5,280. If we divide that out, that's going to give us 60, and our unit is mile per hour.